Yes, now ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rants YouTube channel. I'm watching Monday Night Raw now, and it kicked off with CM Punk. First time on the mic since he lost that World Heavyweight Championship. Now obviously he said that he's coming after Seth, he's coming after that world title. And he says that we're not supposed to hate the player, we're supposed to hate the game, but he loves the game of wrestling and he hates the player Seth freaking Rollins. And he's coming after that title, and this time he's going to give Seth a reason to say he's injured, as he's actually going to break his legs. And that's when LA Knight came out. Now obviously a few weeks ago I said I like this dynamic, both two fan favourites who are similar, and I feel like they would clash in a great match and a great feud on the mic and in the ring. And that they did. You know, they both came out saying, look, I understand you want a shot at Seth, but so do I. And both have a good reason. I mean, LA Knight beat Seth Rollins, he deserves a shot at that title. And last week he had that shot and it was interrupted by CM Punk. So again, he deserves another shot. But CM Punk had the title, it was taken from him. If anyone deserves the first shot, it's CM Punk. He's owed a rematch clause at the world title. Both men earned a shot, though, yeah. And that's when Paul Heyman came out and cut off CM Punk. And I don't know if that was WWE or if that was Paul Heyman, but CM Punk was like, I'm not finished. But whatever. And they set up a match. Braun Bronson taking on CM Punk and LA Knight this episode. And well, LA Knight wasn't too happy that CM Punk was speaking for him, but he also accepted. And I'm loving the dynamic of them two clashing and just kind of, you know, like, mate, get out my face and stuff like that. They've also announced that Naomi will be medically cleared to compete. She was supposed to face Io Sky for the World Championship on this episode, and now she's not. I don't know if this is part of a storyline, but we need some more information, because if she's not medically cleared, she's got the World Championship, she needs to defend it at Clash in Paris, and if she can't make it then you've got to strip her of the title, because, I mean, that's how typical WWE goes. So we're going to hear some more, hopefully, and if we don't, I'll be baffled. But I hope we do. But then that was mentioned in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. I mean, Dirty Dominic Mysterio brought El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser version, into the Clubhouse, and Finn pulled him aside like, look, I can read the room. Everyone else is not happy that he's here, which is crazy and hypocritical, because Finn did the same with JD. He did the same with Roxanne, and it all worked. But this is part of Finn Balor manipulating the rest of the Judgment Day while Liv Morgan is not there. It's a great story, and it's planned out very well, and they're playing into it very well. But Dom said that he's going to use El Grande Americano to bring back the AAA title at Triple Mania back to the Judgment Day, which is fair enough. Then Finn told Roxanne and Raquel to go talk to Adam Pearce and get things sorted. So I think they're going to go for another shot at the women's tag team titles. And just before that segment ended, Finn looked at this bat, which was a Liv Morgan themed bat, and just kind of gave it a funny look. So you can tell Finn's doing this all in spite of Liv Morgan, because he felt intimidated by the power and the control that Liv Morgan had in that Judgment Day Clubhouse. But right now, in the middle of a match, Dominic Mysterio teaming up with El Grande Americano against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, and the pop AJ Styles got is what I like to see. So WWE, pull that trigger. AJ's not got long left. Dom's got years. You know what to do. So that match was actually quite long, and Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano get the win. When it looked like AJ and Dragon Lee were about to get the win, Ludwig pushes Dragon Lee off the top turnbuckle, gets that steel plate out, but doesn't put it in his mask. Instead, gives it to Dom, who slips it in his own mask. And then AJ thinks El Grande Americano's going to have it, and instead Dominic has it. They use it, and they steal a win over AJ Styles, with El Grande Americano getting the pin, which is crazy. AJ getting pinned, which is crazy. You'd think it would be Dragon Lee, but it is what it is. But, you know, build some heat. You want some heat on El Grande Americano and Dominic Mysterio as two of the biggest cheaters in WWE, so fair enough. And I've really got to get that gone. Anyway, then there was a quick backstage segment. Sami Zayn, who's been active, by the way, he was on SmackDown, and he's now come to Adam Pearce and said, look, I'm serious, we need to take this seriously, I want to become world champion, let's make it happen. And he said, agreed. But he does have a match with Rusev this night, as last week he got into a bit of an altercation when Sheamus and Rusev kind of got in between Sami and that. So he has a match with Rusev. That's when Sheamus walks in, and Adam Pearce says, look, Sheamus, this thing between you and Rusev, it's got to stop. It's out of control. And Sami asked Sheamus to not get involved, and Sheamus said, fine, as a friend I won't. But the second that match is over, that Bulgarian bastard is mine, his words, which is fair enough because it's 1-1 and a draw. So yeah, Sami Rusev's going to be a banger. I don't really care who wins because Sami winning obviously is the star I want to chase him to become world champion, but Rusev winning would make big moves for his character. But I feel like there's not going to be a winner because Sheamus is going to get involved, and this might set up a bit of a thing between Sami and Sheamus. And maybe Sami, you know, having a bit of feud with some faces might just bring out that furious side out of him that Karrion Kross is trying to drag out, and might lead to Sami's World Championship future. Who knows? So obviously it was tragic for Io Sky that her World Championship match got cancelled, so she was backstage trying to talk to Adam Pearce, being like, "Howie man, I'm promised an opportunity." That's when Roxanne and Raquel walked in trying to make fun of Io and then trying to claim tag team title shot. So Io was like, "You know what, give me Roxanne Perez." Adam Pearce was like, "Absolutely, it's official." And while it's sad we don't get a world title match, Roxanne and Io eats as a match. Let's be honest, that's a great match, and it better slap, it better hit. So WWE, Monday Night Raw, Adam Pearce, Io Sky, Roxanne Perez, do your motherfucking job. What a kerfuffle. I mean, I said it would end by disqualification, but it wasn't Sheamus's fault. Solo Sikoa and the MFTs got involved. Now, if you've seen my SmackDown reaction, I said, let's not let this win over Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa go nowhere. Yeah? Let's have the MFTs chase after it and be annoyed that Sami stole that victory. Sami beat the US champion. He should get a future shot at the US title. So they all came to beat him up. So there's going to be a feud then. Sami's going to have a shot at the US title some point. Yeah, do give him something. There's a feud there. I like that. But then, of course, once all that happened and they were scored out and Sami was getting checked on, the inevitable happened. Sheamus came out. He was a good friend to Sami. Didn't interrupt the match, but he came out and started fighting Rusev. So, feuds everywhere. But storytelling, it's going. Sheamus and Rusev, the feud is still going. And we're going to have more bangers. And I can't wait for the Sami MFT's feud. I mean, he's got actual history with Solo Squad. He used to be a part of the bloodline. So, it makes sense in my eyes. Well, a lot just happened in that segment. Solo and the MFTs got scored out by the worst acting security I've ever seen. I mean, terrible. But then Adam Pearce was screaming down the phone at Nick Aldis because apparently it's Nick Aldis' fault that Solo and MFT showed up. I don't care if that's SmackDown Brad or not. It's not his fault. And then the referee came up and I'm like, "Oh, we separated Rusev and Sheamus." Okay. Adam Pearce was shouting at him to make sure. Then the New Day and Grayson Waller came up to them and they were complaining about Penta stealing Xavier Woods' hat. They're saying you should ban him from stealing hats. You should ban him from wearing hats. And then Adam Pearce says, if you have a problem, there's a match next week. So I don't know if it's Penta Grayson Waller again or if it's Penta Xavier Woods, Penta Kofi Kingston. God knows. But Adam Pearce wasn't happy with them and he caused that. Then we just had a video package from Bronson Reed. And this is great because by himself, this is what the vision is for. It's to build up the actual great talent. That's the point of the vision. And he had this promo package wearing the Shula fella, and he said, the reason I am a star is not because I'm aligned with Seth Rollins. It's because I attacked Seth Rollins months ago and I earned his respect and he gave me this opportunity to join the vision. The respect I don't want is from Roman Reigns, because Roman have bullied you like a kid on the schoolyard twice and he's took your shoes twice, and the only reason it hasn't happened the third time is because Roman hasn't manned up and met Bronson the third time. So he says it will happen again, and eventually Roman will acknowledge Bronson Reed as his tribal thief. They're actually running with it as a gimmick, but that's actually quite funny. But yeah, something different. I don't care. Yeah. So right before Io Sky's match, he rejected the Kabuki Warriors for the second week in a row. When they tried to go out there and be our friend like they were formerly, she said, "Nah, I'm good. I can do this alone." And then when Raquel and Roxanne were up to their normal shenanigans in the match, the Kabuki Warriors tried to help Io, and it ended up costing Io. I can see a story developing here where Io kind of goes solo, the Kabuki Warriors probably turn on her or something. There's going to be some friendship divide between Io and Kabuki Warriors. But Roxanne actually stole the win over Io, which is crazy because having Io lose with the hype that she's got right now is crazy. But it's a bold move, and I don't mind it because Roxanne needs that stardom, and Roxanne's good enough for it, you know, she deserves it. Jey Uso gets a little interview backstage. Apparently he missed last week, didn't even notice. So the welcomed him back and he said he's putting Bronson and Seth on notice and he wants a shot at that world title. That's when LA Knight was there, obviously, combating CM Punk for the front of the line. And now we say to Jey Uso, look, you may have stepped out of Roman shadow, but you ain't at the front of this line. And Jey Uso says, forget about the lines. You want to argue about lines? I'll kick you to the back of it. but welcome to Monday Night Raw. So obviously they're all faces, they all have respect for each other, but it's competition, and that's what I freaking like. That's what I was on about. Baby faces versus baby faces. It's a possibility, and often at times it's better. Just saying. And Corey Graves called it Monday Night Raw, so disgusting. And it's all unfolding after the match. Asuka, Kairi were having an argument in Japanese, got no clue what they were saying. But Asuka got frustrated and pushed Io, and Io was shocked, visibly. And then when Kairi didn't know what to do, she followed Asuka. Rightfully so. I mean, Io's the one turning them down, and again, that put more shock on Io's face, so God knows where the story's going. But we just got the Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree match. It's good to see Maxine Dupree actually in the ring, seeing how she's improving and whatever. But Becky did bully her the whole match and then tapped her out with the disarmer, which I'm glad, because just because we've got the manhandle slam now doesn't mean we need to disqualify the disarmer. So I'm glad she won a match with it, and it's actually still a meaningful move for her. And then after the match, she kicked Natalya. So they're probably going to continue this short little feud until Nikki Bella comes back at any point, if she does. Which she should, because I mean, that promo last week, come on man, we can't leave it at that. Let's have Nikki Bella come back and do this match with Becky Lynch as well as Natalya. Come on man, we need these people in the ring a lot. I mean, Natalya is being slept on, man. She's been massively slept on, so we need that to happen. Quite a couple interesting backstage promos there. Seth Rollins is in the building, and he was happy and celebrating because he thought he had a CM Punk problem, he thought he had an LA Knight problem, but it turns out their problem is each other. Now Braun and Bronson are dealing with them. Seth was like, peace, I'm out, which I don't think is true. I think he's going to appear in that main event, and I think him leaving is just, well, it's fake, just like his injury. It's just to trick them, really. Then we had a backstage promo, a video package from Bayley. Obviously, she didn't win the Intercontinental title. She cost Lyra her final shot at the IC title. She had a fallout with Lyra, and she said she's not been proud of herself this last year. She doesn't feel good about herself, and instead she's feeling dead depressed because she's not got no titles, she's not got no wins, which is crazy because look at the gauntlet match she had with Lyra Valkyria, look at the title match she had with Lyra Valkyria the week before, look at the matches she's been having. This last year, she's been having some of our best matches she's ever had. But it's true. And they're kind of building a story here. They had an interview with Lyra Valkyria, and she felt bad, you could tell, but she stuck by her point and said, no, it's not my fault. Bayley did cost me the title. That meant a lot to me, and I can't challenge her anymore because of her. I stand by what I said. She's on her own. So they're going down that story. Then Io's back on the screen, still shocked and depressed, whatever. Stephanie Vaquer comes up to her. She gets a big pop. Loving that. Love that NXT star's getting a big pop. And especially Stephanie Vaquer. And she said, don't worry, you're not the only one that was promised a title shot. Does that mean that Stephanie and Naomi at Clash in Paris is not happening? And does that mean at Clash in Paris maybe we might get Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky instead? Because that means we can have the match that I wanted at Clash in Paris without Naomi losing the title, and we can have Stephanie winning without Naomi losing the title. That would be great. That would be greatly appreciated. Because they've had two matches now that have not got an ending. And I feel like that needs one. But then eventually she came across Rhea Ripley. And if I thought Stephanie Vaquer's pop was great, if I thought anyone's pop was great, Rhea Ripley's was deafening. Like, it went on for a solid 10 seconds as well. It's louder than CM Punk's pop, which is crazy. Rhea Ripley is so over. And she was actually trying to tell Io that she kind of trusts Kabuki Warriors, which is crazy because that's supposed to be the heel thing to do. And Io didn't. Obviously, she rejected the advice and basically told her to do one. So yeah. And that will conclude Monday Night Raw. Obviously, it ended in disqualification. Obviously, Seth Rollins did not get in his jet, and obviously, he interrupted the match. Obviously, Jey Uso came to make the save. We had the big 3-on-3 standoff. LA Knight, CM Punk, Jey Uso chasing Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker out the ring. The same cliche stuff they do on every episode of Raw, NXT, and SmackDown that they've been doing for the same 20 years. No one's surprised by it. What we are surprised by is the news we just got, and I'm happy about it. Adam Pearce comes out, says, no, I'm sick of you, Seth. I'm sick of this bullshit. I'm sick of your lies. I'm sick of everything. At Clash in Paris, you will defend against Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk in a Fatal 4-Way. Now, that I like. While at the same time, I would have liked a rematch against CM Punk, a one-on-one match with LA Knight, and a one-on-one match with Jey Uso. This also works for me, because we can still have those one-on-one matches, and let's just do it. Let's have a banger Fatal 4-Way match. Obviously, Seth is going to retain that. But because this was confirmed, LA Knight, CM Punk, they've done their team up. They've both got their opportunity. They couldn't hold it back any longer. They started scrapping each other. Jey Uso got involved, and that's when the three men were distracted. Braun, Bronson, Seth took advantage, beat them up, and left them laying to close the show. Anyone surprised? Not me. But that match is great. Can't wait for it to happen. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.